Hi guys, we're live. And let me just see if we have people who have jumped in already. It's been a while since my live. Actually, no, I've missed one live. Now I just need to make sure that you guys can hear me and I am not going to let me just quickly check here. Just give me a sec. Okay, here we go. Just give me a sec. Perfect. So now we're live and I can be heard. And not just, thinking that I'm heard. So how is everyone? And one of the things that I have, been doing recently is actually help out here in our apartments, recycling pickups and schedules. And I thought, it's a really good topic to just bring up and start talking about and chatting about because trash, our waste, is really something that's overwhelming our globe. So our chance to try and reduce the amount of waste we have is really important. So how can we do that on a daily basis? The other thing that I've been doing as well, if you've seen the last videos, is we have been creating our own soaps. We have been creating our own teas and our own herbal medicines. And how does that contribute into being able to go zero waste? Now, when we were creating our herbal remedies, we were reusing a lot of the bottles that we had, the jars that we had at home. So instead of you throwing away the jars, your jam jars, the jars for the sauces that you buy, the pickles, the mayonnaise, keep them and put them aside because if you want to be able to use them, you can use them for so many different things. If you think about it, what do you buy that are in jars? One of the things that you buy that are in jars are those chopped garlic. Now you can create your own chopped garlic by obviously buying garlic, chopping them up in small pieces, putting them in a jar and topping it up with olive oil. Then you don't have to buy another jar of chopped garlic. You now have your own jar of chopped garlic. The other thing that you can do is if you bought a lot of ginger, for example, and you're worried about the ginger drying up or going all moldy in the fridge, you could actually start grating your ginger, putting it in a jar, and again, topping it up with olive oil. Olive oil is a very good way of keeping your ginger and your garlic from going off and keep being able to keep them longer in the fridge. So rather than you buying those fixes in the shops, make sure that you actually do that and create your own. I think I'm on a bit of a slow motion here. I'm not sure what's going on. Let me just quickly check. Shops. Make sure that you actually do that and create your own. Okay. I think what's happening here is my internet might be a little bit slow. Let's just give it a chance to catch up. Okay, here's hoping we're on properly. We're back on properly. And my Wi-Fi is now making me go through, not on slow motion, but at normal speed. Let's just see. Okay. All right. I'm just going to keep talking. If you have questions or if you notice that I'm on slow motion, please do let me know. If it's pausing or if it has stopped, let me know as well. Okay, because it's very hard to see from my end. My live countdown has stopped at 4.06, 4:20. Let me just see. From my end, my live countdown has stopped. Okay, perfect. So it looks like I actually am on properly right now. So, I froze. Okay, guys, I'm hoping that this is going on more smoothly than it was earlier. I've had to jump off and jump back on, and I apologize. I think what we're going to be doing is, right after the end of this, we'll pull it out and put it back in. But again, hello, and let's talk waste. Let's talk recyclables, and let's talk about how we can start reusing the bottles that we have, the bags, the boxes that we have at home. So, all you have to do if you want to start contributing to zero waste in your community is to start looking at what you seem to be buying a lot of. And when I was going through my own waste, I realized I actually have a lot of those little jam bottles. My husband loves St. Dalfor jams. We have a lot of those jam bottles. So now what I've done is every time I create my herbal extracts, I use those jam bottles. So find what you can use those bottles for. If you don't know what you can use them for, if you don't create your own herbal extracts, maybe join my workshops and learn how to create a herbal extract. Last week we created our own hand soaps, own body wash. Again, with those, you can create like a big batch, put them in bottles, and start pouring them from your bottles to your pump bottles that you buy from the shop. So you now don't need to buy new pump bottles with soap. You actually just reuse the pump bottles that you have from your previous purchase. So minimizing the times that you purchase those products that you cannot recycle allows you to just think of how you can recycle them, right? Obviously, the difficult things to recycle are the soft plastics. And the only way to stop using soft plastics is to make sure that every time you go out of the house, you actually fold up a little bag inside your handbag that you can now pop out every time you have something to buy from the shops. Having that also prevents, the difficulty of juggling around with paper bags when you have really heavy products that you've purchased. I remember going to, I think it was the Philippines, and I was buying books, and I was given a paper bag, and I thought, how am I going to carry these books in this flimsy paper bag? This is just going to fall off. So if I had in my bag that time a little grocery bag or a cloth bag that I can use for groceries that I can fold up as well, then it saves me the trouble of having to get a paper bag, which, will just be thrown away. The other thing is when you go to the shops and you buy your drinks, don't get the straws, don't get the plastic straws. I wouldn't even get the paper straws anymore. I just open I just drink directly from my cup, right? So you don't even need the plastic cover. The same with coffee, why get the cover, the plastic cover, if you can walk around with your cup and just drink directly from your cup. One other thing that you could do is you could bring your own mug and actually present it to them, and they will pour your drink in that mug. So just see what your community shops are willing to do and are willing to accept. Give your own recommendations as well so that they can, the two of you and the shop people around you can, have an agreement of what's acceptable, what's not, and how you can both on your ends minimize waste. So if we don't look at what we can do about waste, we will just be creating an even more toxic environment for us. And the toxicity will not go away until we can limit and minimize the amount of trash that we have. So look at everything that's trash. If you have peels, banana peels, and fruits that you don't finish up, rather than throwing them away, why don't you turn them into compost? It's a really good way of doing it. And if you don't have a big garden, you just have like a balcony like mine, what I would do is I would actually blend those and include them in the potting mix that I have to become fertilizer for my pots. So there are different things that you can do. You just have to try and perhaps learn a little bit more about it, research about it, or go to YouTube and learn more. Another thing that I've been doing is, because we're preparing for the end of our posting, we have been going through our documents, scanning our documents, shredding our paperworks that we don't need physical copies for. And I've been looking at them and I thought, well, you know what? Maybe I can learn how to create my own paper. Create recycled paper. That way, I'm not just throwing away all this paper, I'm actually converting it to something usable for me. So my total trash that's coming out from my house is also minimized that way. So there are a lot of different ways you can contribute, and the ways don't even have to be complicated. Every time we empty a jar of jam or jar of, let's just say, bolognese sauce, we always put it in the sink to be washed. That's just an automatic thing that we do. We wash all our jars, we put them aside. Just before we use them, we sterilize them so that they're actually clean. And especially the ones with tomato sauce, tomato paste, bolognese sauce, they really stink. They have a very strong acidic tomato smell. So we sterilize those and then we reuse them for whatever purpose, whether it's for our herbal remedies or whether we want to create our own bolognese sauce from scratch. You can create your own bolognese sauce. You can create a huge amount and then bottle them. Like if parents, you are going to be busy with work and you want to be able to leave your kids with something that they can prepare right away, create your own bolognese sauce. You can keep that for a week and can put it in the fridge. But if you sterilize a container, you can actually keep it for longer. I don't usually keep it for much longer than a week though. So I only create the sauces that I can use straight away. But another thing that I actually do is when I buy my garlic, I buy a lot, I chop it up, I put it in a jar and I top it up with olive oil. So I have my ready to use ginger or garlic, because I do exactly the same thing with ginger. If you want your garlic whole, then you can have two different containers, one with whole garlic and one with chopped up ginger. Because the problem with those is if you don't use them all straight away, they start sprouting. They start creating leaves and you have to plant them, right? So if you don't want to sprout them, to plant them, then you'll have to use them fairly quickly. And if you can't use them fairly quickly, hey, you can still chop them up and put them aside in a jar with olive oil. Olive oil is a really great menstruum to preserve your kitchen herbs like garlic, like ginger. Okay? If you want to learn how to create your own herbal extracts as well, send me a private message or check out the link that's in one of my Facebook pages or Instagram pages. Join that and we'll be able to add you into our Facebook private group so that you can have access to some of this information on creating your herbal extracts. Last week, as I said, we did our own soaps. If you want access to that, then let me know as well and we'll give you access to it. Oops, let me just check. Hey, Connie. Yes, that's right. It stopped at 4.55 and then I've just reset it. So now it's working very well. It's been very hard, but anyway. Mike, thanks for watching. I just saw your name there. With the others, thank you for joining me once again. And, I think to be able to have a really good result in all this recycling and zero waste effort that the whole globe is trying to get into, we all have to share our suggestions and recommendations for it, because there's no one size fits all, and there are different things that we all use, that we all constantly buy. So if others have your suggestions, please do share it. But one of the things that I've actually told my husband is, we know how to create soap. We really have no reason to purchase soap. So we will just keep recycling our pump bottles and our jars and use that for create a soap that we create. I'm looking at trying out some shampoos. I did it before, but it's been a while. So maybe we can do a workshop on shampoos. Let me just see if I can find my old recipes and I'll do a shout out for for this Saturday. Actually, I usually like doing my workshops on a weekend so everyone can join. So we'll do a tentative shout out for Saturday. The same time, I think it was about 3 o'clock that I invited people to join me last time, but I will post it. And let's try and create our own shampoos, because those are the bottles that we always buy. We buy shampoo bottles, we buy conditioner bottles, we buy soap bottles. So if we can start creating those, and if they're not difficult, then we can create a big batch to just use. So we store them in jars that we already have and reuse the pump bottles that we already again have at home. So again, as I said, look at what you constantly have, what you always buy. And instead of tissues, have a handkerchief. Let's go back to the old way where people always had the handkerchief in their bag or in their pockets, and use those instead of tissues, because those you can wash. Tissues you just throw away. So it's not just about making sure that what you buy or what you use are recyclable, because remember, recyclable or non-recyclable, they're also going to have to find the use for them. They're still ending up as trash from your home that you send off, right? So the whole zero waste, the whole recycling is obviously start from using only recyclable stuff. Stop using non-recyclable items, and the recyclable ones, see how you can use them so you're not actually getting rid of them from your home. The other thing that I mentioned again, as I said, is make sure you always have 1 or 2 bags in your handbag that you fold it into a small piece, so that every time you buy something, you just pull that out from your bag, and you can now carry your purchased items in your own bag. You're not having to buy another bag. What happens is we're all going zero plastic in the shops, but our homes are getting filled with all these recyclable bags, right? So to prevent that as well from happening, because eventually if you have too much of it, you're going to throw it away or give it away. Give away is good, but a lot of the times people throw stuff away. So again, to prevent that from happening, you already have so much of it. Make sure that you have some in your car, in your handbag, and in whatever else that you travel with, right? So if you travel in a bike, make sure that you have it in your bike. So you have to make it a routine, like a constant thing. I remember especially when I was in Canberra and I'd go for my walks, I would end up buying something. So I would have this little small plastic that I've folded in my wallet, because I could always open it up and grab it, right? Here in Indonesia, we have these recyclable plastic bags that are made from sweet potato. So they're really thin, they're really good to actually fold up into a small piece and put in your wallet. If you don't have that, then just have a little bag and put that in your handbag, or bring a backpack whenever you're walking around. You can use your backpack as your bag, and then you can put extra bags in that too. Coffee. If you always want to get your coffee, I don't know if it was this one or before I got cut off earlier, but I said bring a mug with you, whether it's a small traveling mug, have it in your work bag or your big handbag, and get your coffee from with that. So you also now limit the amount of paper cups that you're using up, right? I know that you can actually be a little bit, you can go a bit over the top with this. And if you actually look at the end result to the environment, I don't think there's anything that's over the top, because right now we're just all trying to discover how we can go zero waste. Very few people have figured that out. And whatever else additional that you can add to your routine that will actually contribute to you having less waste would be the most efficient, the most effective, and the most, will allow you to contribute the most to the community, to the environment, right? So always think of that, because you know what? Whatever we do that contributes to our environment creates the future for our children and our grandchildren. If we don't do it, who's going to do it? If we don't show our kids what can be done, how will they learn, right? So it always starts from us. So I just wanted to share a little bit of that, because I was thinking about that this whole time. We're transitioning here in our apartment. The lady that used to handle, organizing all this recycling is about to go. So I've actually raised my hand to do it. But we all can raise our hands in our little way, in our communities, in actually organizing this whole recycling and zero waste thing. So let's try and see how we can contribute. And I'd love to hear how you do it. JD, I'd love to hear how you can contribute to your community towards zero waste. There are people that have shared on YouTube what they do to go zero waste, and I think it's really worthwhile watching those. Even if what they contribute can be a little bit difficult for you, at least it's a seed that you've planted in your head to start thinking about. Because only when you know what's possible will you know if it's something that you can or can't do. So just have a think. And if you think that, creating your own soap, creating your own shampoo, creating your own moisturizers is so difficult, think again. It actually isn't. What's difficult is knowing how to do it. But if you sit down and learn how to do it with someone that's done it, it's actually very quick. Last weekend, we created our own soap. We created our own all-purpose cleanser. We created our own glass cleaner, all in an hour and a half. But that was with all the chatting and all the questions and everything else. Once you know what to do, in less than 20 minutes, you can create all those three. So again, learn what's possible. If you're interested to try and see if we can create our own shampoo, then join me on Saturday. It'll be around 3 p.m. Jakarta time. I'll post it underneath this video. Just give me a chance to just look for my ingredients or see who I can follow that can give me a good, tested recipe. And let's all learn how to do it together. So that's it for me today. Let's all try to do our share in recycling and in going zero waste. Learn how to create our own soaps, shampoos, conditioners, hell, even our own toothpaste. It's not that difficult. So if you do that, then you start getting rid of all the unnecessaries that we keep buying. Yes, JDip, it's very interesting. Very, very interesting. Connie, let me know if you guys have any question. Kalau kamu tinggal di sini, di Jakarta, connect with me. Kita bicara tentang bagaimana kita bikin kelas di sini, tentang bagaimana bikin soap, atau shampoo, atau moisturizer, atau yang cleanser kita di sini. Or just say hi. And to those of you that are connecting from different parts of the world, let me know if you're watching me on a replay and let me know what platform you're watching from, because we are live and we're going to be saving all this for all the 8 platforms that we're in. Have a great day. Bye-bye.